When I was 12 years old, my Uncle Joe was murdered in his sleep by his wife. And for me, the hardest part of that was that I was very close to her. I hugged her before she was arrested, and I heard her say, "Oh my God, like I can't believe I did this." She was eventually arrested and sentenced to life without parole at Muncie State Prison. I never had the chance to have another conversation with her about why she did that, or what happened, or how she felt about me and how it affected me, because she died in prison of cancer. So it's not, as the family member of a victim, I've never had closure from that experience because of the way the system works. So I think there's a lot of people say, what about the victims? And for me, life without parole was not fair to me.
I committed a serious crime. I committed a homicide. Arguably, by the facts, it was a first-degree homicide. But they saw fit to give me a third degree, which meant I had an opportunity for parole after 22 and a half years. Looking back, my skin color, the fact that I was in a rural county, played a large role in my sentence, in my conviction, because if I was in Philadelphia and I was an 18-year-old black man, I would have been sentenced to life or death. There's no doubt about that.
You know, our upbringing and our surroundings was a major factor in our decisions. And I unfortunately spent 17 years incarcerated for crimes that I committed, I was involved in, that resulted in someone's death. This day, I cannot bring them back. This day, my brother cannot bring them back. But would we? Yes, we would.
I pulled up some research by a research team led by a Pittsburgh professor. He's at Carnegie Mellon University. And he tells us, like so many others have told, that people largely age out of crime. His research shows us that people who do property crimes, like burglary, car theft, they tend to stop doing that in their 20s. Whereas people who commit more violent crimes, they tend to stop doing those things in their early 30s, and that those involved in kind of drug crimes tend to continue a little bit longer, still into their 30s, but people typically don't commit a lot of crimes in their 40s and 50s and 60s and beyond, which tells us that we don't need to lock up people for decades and decades and decades, at least not for our safety.